So thanks, man. Thanks, Nati, for taking us through your thinking process and why you actually enjoyed
Yeah, yeah.
worked out in your coaching. And I think your psychology background is obviously quite instrumental into that. So just coaching aside, as an industrial psychologist, just working in the workplace, just tell me and walk me through what are some of the things that you actually don't enjoy, which actually link to some of
Yeah.
the things that you do.
Whew. I'm trying to think. Hmm, don't enjoy.
Yeah. Or least enjoy, or things that you just enjoy a little bit less.
Mm. Ah, I'm
Oh,
trying to
you
think
do your
if there
job
was
so
one
much,
more.
man. Yeah, this is inspiring.
Yeah, listen, I mean, so I guess, and I mean, so I'll give you a couple of things, and I think
Yeah,
there's a few things, So one of the things about organizations, just companies, there's order to things. There's structure, there's processes and systems.
yeah,
Yeah, I think what I don't enjoy the most is almost like that no-brainer of like, the reason why these things are in place is so that we can use them.
yes,
Yeah, coming across people that don't play along, kind of does sometimes make me wonder. I'm like,
yeah,
the system is there for this, or the process is there for this.
yeah,
But listen, I mean, I also don't discourage innovation, or not necessarily innovation, but challenging the status quo. But yeah, you can only do that so much, because you also do need stability, especially in big organizations. My rationale would be that the smaller the organization, the more expedient, maverick you could be.
yes, yes,
The
yes,
the
yes,
bigger
yes.
the organization, the more order you require. You need that stability, that consistency.
Right.
uh, so I don't really enjoy when when I sit in a big organization, when some of those like no-brainer stuff happens. I'm like, that's why we have the system, that's why we
Yeah.
have the
So what
processes.
are you saying? You're
You know?
saying you encounter people who try to take shortcuts.
Yeah, and it's not really, and I mean, it's not. So yes, I mean, obviously that's part of what I'm saying, but it's not really the people as such.
Yeah.
It's when there's like a, I don't know what it is. It's like systemic. It's like a system within the system
Uh-huh.
that doesn't want to play along. It's like, but
Okay.
what are we really doing? So maybe to my kind of follow-up point is, what I don't enjoy is working in an environment that's pulling in different directions.
Right.
I think my own successes in life, have always been making sure that everything that, well, obviously number one, having a core goal, or a thing that draws you in the direction that
Yeah.
that's, I mean, my I always say my purpose is to grow,
Yeah.
right? And I mean, that could mean anything. It could grow myself, grow the next person.
Yes.
So if in an organization, where there's a clear goal, so the company's goal is to grow, and then there are people who are doing things that are not growing the company,
Yeah. Anti-growth.
then that, yeah, they're not pro-social or pro the goal.
Yeah.
It can be a little bit yeah, frustrating. So that's the other point is, if we don't have, if the goal is clear, but there are some either individuals or groups or teams, or are just pulling, I'm like, but are we not in the same company or in the same team? And
Yeah.
it can be a little bit, yeah, um, counterproductive.
I think that just deals with the topic we encountered. I think in our one of the modules that I was studying for Uguti, no one goes to work trying to create a dysfunctional culture.
Yeah.
Everybody, is trying to do what's right. And if that's the case, why then
Mm.
so many dysfunctional habits in the workplace? Do
Correct.
you think people purposefully wake up and think, "What, I want to just go that way"? Yeah, so
Mm.
it's pretty interesting.
And,
Yeah,
and I mean, one of the things that really has made me survive, I guess, listen, I mean, organizations are not like horrible places, but
yeah,
there is a point where some people might find it as a breaking point, right? So the important thing is that you need to apply a lot of empathy, like, especially when you're working with people, whose backgrounds you're not really familiar with. So, I mean, in the workplace, we're strangers, right? So if
Yeah.
someone comes and in a meeting does something counter to the goal of the meeting, you need to apply empathy to understand, to put yourself in that person's shoes, to kind of then understand where they come from. I think that's number
Right.
one.
Right.
And then I think number two, you also just need to understand that we are different. So, different people will do things differently. It's just a matter of, making sure that you find your place in the midst of all of it, and and do what you need to do,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
and what's important for number one, for yourself, but also for the
Yeah.
organization.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah, it's so crazy. And all the things you're actually talking about are things that you can only come to bear and understand through
Yeah,
experience and through making mistakes. Like, yeah, I
correct.
can imagine you
Yeah.
now trying to, structure a meeting and somebody's going in that way. And I'm sure you at some point realize, actually, let me just hang back. Let me just try to understand where this fellow is actually
Yeah,
coming from. Yeah.
exactly,
So you can
exactly.
only get there through mistakes and
Mm,
growing from that. The
yeah.
next thing that I wanted to ask you, man, is so what is actually your first professional job?
Okay, I was an intern in a
Yeah,
consulting firm.
yeah.
Um,
Which is where we
I
met.
mean,
Yeah,
yeah, this is where we met at
you're
Black
my senior.
Consulting.
Yeah, you're my senior.
That's rubbish.
Yeah.
That's rubbish. So, I mean, I was literally 1 year ahead. So it's just a matter of timing and
That's
where our
true.
careers kind of,
Yeah,
yeah. So my first professional job I was an intern consultant, doing my internship, my industrial psychology or psychology internship.
yeah.
And yeah, I don't know if you want me to expand, but it was
No, no, that's chill. So
pretty, yeah, pretty, yeah,
how would you
yeah,
summarize the job? Like, how was it? Now that you
yeah,
look
yeah, yeah.
after all these years, like,
So,
what do you have to say about that year?
so yeah, so it was a lot of learning. It was, I
Yeah,
mean, and coming out of academia, or work, coming out of studies into the workplace. So there's a couple of things that I had to learn. I mean, one of the things my supervisor would say, these are the directors. This is you. The directors, you need to, yeah, you need to make sure that you behave in a certain way.
yeah.
So also, because also being recognized is not just about your work. And I think people need
Mm.
to understand, and it's not in a bad way, but it's also about how you relate to people. Do you shake their hand when you see them or you meet someone? And what he was basically saying is, I mean, other people might see it as, for lack of a better expression, kissing ass. But he's
Yeah,
also just saying, when you meet a director on a corridor, make sure you stretch out your arm and greet and say, "Good day, smooth,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
how are you today?"
yeah.
And these are things that, you don't have to pay. You don't have to get a degree for that. It's just a matter of just, oh, he acknowledged me. That I'm me first of all, and the fact that he's senior to you.
Just etiquette.
So that year, yeah, it's etiquette.
Yeah,
But yeah, it was a good learning curve, both on a technical professional side, but also just as like in a human being.
yeah,
Because when I came in out of my when I did my master's, coming into the internship, what you think about the world gets quickly, like, reshaped very quickly in
yes,
that first 3 months.
yes.
What you think about, I think, also being an adult, because in university you're still kind of a kid,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
out partying, I don't know. I guess your parents are still paying for stuff,
yeah.
and then I mean, one of the things, maybe to quickly share, is I was on a student loan, and one of the things also what I learned, in my internship is to manage my finances,
Ish.
is to
Yeah,
say, okay, here's my salary, here's tax, which I can't do anything about.
yeah,
But here's a student loan that I need to repay. So I had to also be financially responsible.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Also had to buy a car, to then, pay back that money to my parents for the car
Ish,
that they bought for me.
ish.
So these are, like, not only just career lessons, these are like
Yeah,
life lessons.
yeah,
But yeah, I mean, highlights of that year was obviously definitely, earning a salary, being in the workplace, meeting people, having to step up in terms of how I'm perceived, and basically showing people that, listen, guys, I can add value. I'm valuable to
yeah.
this business. And some of the lowlights, as I mentioned, I had quite a. I think we had the same supervisor
Yes,
actually.
we did actually.
Had a
I
quite
had
a, had a
about
quite a
4 months or 5 months or whatever. Yeah, you had the full 12.
yes, yeah. I had the full 12 months. Yeah, so we had a quite a and listen, maybe it's a low light, but it's definitely a memorable moment where I think my attitude, in some of the parts of the internship, and I felt entitled, or I don't know, I felt I was deserving of certain type of work. And he set me down. He's like, listen, dude, and he drew the org structure for me. He put the directors at the top, associate directors, and he drew basically the whole structure. I mean, you remember principal consultant, senior consultant, and then he drew a couple of other blocks at the bottom, and it's almost like, it was like a pyramid. So it's like, okay, at the bottom is a whole bunch of these junior guys, and he's like, okay, where do you think you are? Then I'm like, yeah, I didn't see the intern at the. He's like, no. He's like, you are further down, right? He says you have no business. You actually have no business having a shitty attitude. You didn't use the word shitty, but like he was like, you have no business not having the right attitude towards your work, number one, and towards your colleagues.
Yeah.
And he put me in my place, and I'll forever be grateful for that moment, because it made me realize that I'm taking things for granted.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm looking after a couple of interns, I mean, in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And I said to the one lead, I said, listen, what work experience do you have? And it might have seemed harsh, but you almost need to lend the message that outside of varsity, you have zero experience. You've got nothing.
Yes.
Think about it. Unless you worked and then you went back and studied, you've got zilch. All you can do is read a textbook and write exams.
Yes. That's what you
So I was tongue in cheek, and I said to the intern, I said, listen, you need to be the best, binder. You need to be able to bind, documents for us. You need to be able to staple.
Yeah.
So you need to know how these things work, because what's quite nice, and I realized in my internship year, or even later in my consulting years, while you're busy binding and stapling stuff, these documents that are in front of you, I'm reading, I'm like, oh, this is interesting.
Yes.
Because you bind, because you're stapling presentations that are going to be presented to an exco at a top, telecoms company.
Yes.
So for me, that was like game time. I'm getting to read a strategy document, or not even like a really, I guess it is a strategic document that's going to get positioned to an exco the following or the next 2 days. So the time that you spent in front of the printer or binding documents was valuable time for me. So I always chirp my interns and say, listen, you need to be the best binder in town. You need to be the best stapler. You need to know how these resources work, because at this moment you've got no other skill. Start there. And then obviously, the lesson there is that when you spend time with these documents, that you should be soaking in that knowledge or whatever that's in front of you.
Sure, that's so useful, because I think a lot of younger folk today, they think they're gonna get into the workplace and they're gonna dominate immediately. Like, I remember I encountered an intern the 1 year, and she had fire in her belly, which I admire very much. And
no, it's great.
I asked her, what do you want to achieve? And she was like, look, I want to be great. I I was like, I was beside myself, like, you want to be great. Like, what do you mean? Like, first you have to, learn how to be humble and learn how to, do the binding. At least that's how we were taught. I'm not sure now, how people will be mentored now, but
no, and then I mean, they need to learn, how to deal with the lows,
yes,
like when it gets really bad, because then like where not to go or what to work towards or work away from. Because I think, I mean, maybe to share like a side story, I might be going slightly off topic, but it's quite a powerful story. I mean, I worked with with someone that in their life, they almost don't have any failures.
Wow.
A student combed their qualification. Man. I mean, everything was going great.
Yes.
But I mean, me and her had a conversation, and when we got talking about some of the personal stuff, you actually realize there's something not fully there. Like there isn't like something didn't go full circle, in the person's life. And in not so many words, but in terms of how she kind of projected, there was something missing. And I mean, obviously, I wasn't doing any sort of psychotherapy or anything, but from the conversation, I got the sense that yes, I've achieved, but I need this or that. But because of the type of personality, the reaching for greatness, there's certain things that you actually need to, to your point, be humble to kind of go reach, so then you can lift up again and then move forward.
Correct.
And I saw that she lacked that somewhat humility to go below, in whatever sense, to go, forward again. And everything needs to be like full steam ahead.
Exactly.
So I was like, hey, you know what? Each one to their own. If that's what she wants and she can get that, great.
Kudos.
But your average guy,
yeah, you do have to start.
There's lows and highs.
You do have to start from the bottom and work your way up. You can't just be great.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely. And then just still talking about that first experience and that first job. I remember for me, man, was such a blur. Like this, I'm sure I was terrible at my impression management, and I think I'm sure I wasn't happy.
Well, one thing that really stood out about you was
the suit.
There was a suit, man.
The gray suit. I know.
That suit. Because I did your interview, ne? Yes, I did. I remember the suit.
Oh man,
that suit was legendary, dude.
I'm gonna go burn it just now. Yeah, cool.
No, you must hand it down.
No. All right, cool. So just if you had to go back and talk to the internship Nati, like what kind of advice would you give him?
I think definitely sort out your attitude. That was a big one for me. And also just take risks. Don't doubt yourself. Listen, I mean, I think till this day, I mean, I think I have confidence issues. I spend a lot of time in my head.
Yeah.
So I think, I mean, the advice to a young Anat would definitely be don't spend a lot of time in your head. Yeah. There's so much in the world that you could do to and live, just live. And what's quite interesting, the people that I was surrounded with, or that were around me at the time of the younger me, they reaffirmed, so it was weird that there was doubt. I mean, to give you a snippet of one of the coaching sessions that I had with one of, I guess we know Mornay actually, one of former colleagues. And he asked me simply, he's like, he asked me, he says, what do you think is lacking in you? And then I said, no, I'm lacking experience. He's like, no, you'll get that in a couple of years. Okay, he's like, okay, what else? And I kept going. And funny enough, your brain will do the best work to find things that don't work. But it's, we're so lazy to find some of the, the things that work well. So yeah, he challenged me. He's like, dude, listen, you're in South Africa. You're a young black man. You've got a master's degree. You've got an internship in arguably one of the best boutique consulting firms in Joburg. Grow, dude. Like flourish from here onwards.
Yeah.
But I guess the conversation, and at the time I was looking for someone to kind of take me under their wing and then help me grow. He was like, yeah, I can guide you and kind of point in the right direction, but you already have what it takes. So you just need someone to reaffirm you. Yeah. And to be honest, I think the young Anati, I would still go back and say, go look for someone who can mentor you, or have that almost like a brotherly conversation with you at a professional level.
Yeah.
So definitely try and find a mentor. And then the one big piece of advice which I give my interns is appreciate where you are. So your degree or the technical thing that you're studying, whether it's accounting, engineering, great. But just learn like soft skills. Like I think to your point, learn like decency, learn soft skills, learn how to do presentations. Don't rely on your degree and your qualification to take you in your career. And I mean, even to the point, of where we both are in our careers, we never, stuck in the industrial psychology route. And I mean, I guess our field is dynamic, but we never really stuck in the assessments, even though we're still doing it.
Yeah.
But, we're doing other stuff, So that the other big piece of advice is just learn, man. Keep learning, learn skills, learn how to code, learn how to, learn, how to do data analytics. I don't know, learn, man. Just learn stuff that will
Keep
keep
learning.
you going. Because at some point, I mean, if I think about the last time I did my qualification, or last time I was in school, it was 2010. So, when I think about where the world is at the moment, I can argue that my skill might even be redundant.
Mm.
Um, so learn, just keep moving. That's keep pushing those boundaries, and just keep learning. Be relevant, be employable, and those kind of things.
Cool. And just nearing towards the end of our discussion, I think that when you talk about the need to stay relevant and stuff like that, I think you are challenging yourself with regards to that this year. And I think I don't know if you're comfortable to discuss it.
No, it's
Yeah.
no secret. It's
All
no
right,
secret.
great. So
So
fantastic.
yeah.
So you're going ahead this year. You're going to be starting your studies and an MBA. So what's brought that desire, particularly at this stage?
Yeah. So I mean, one of the things, I mean, you'd know this, is, your career evolves, you take a direction, but not really a direction, but like you're in a situation that warrants you to take a particular direction. It is rare. I mean, the old traditional career is gone, like being a police for the rest of your life, being a
Yeah.
nurse. I mean, in my master's year, I had a lady who was a nurse for 20 years.
Wow.
Who pivoted with the masters to go into industrial psych. And yeah, I mean, we've lost touch, but she pivoted, with the masters. So yeah, so I want to pursue my MBA, and I got accepted, at a business school overseas, Fox Business School.
Philly.
Yeah, to Philly in Philadelphia, and to do my MBA. And I mean, the drive there has always been, like, I really love business. I love management. And I want to be in a position to talk the language of business people, so that I can, get a seat at the table, and also just, hold my own as a business person. So I see the opportunity to do the MBA, to have that credibility at face value. So, when I've done it, but also to really learn and have a repository of skills that I can use in my career. I mean, one of the other things is, in my degree, on my qualification, I never did commerce, subjects like, accounting, business management, economics. So I want to use this opportunity at this level to position my profile, to add this, to kind of link it together. Listen, man, obviously at some point I want to, go big and, chase like an HR director role, or a big blue chip company, and I want to have the dream, not necessarily because I want to tick a box, but because it almost feel like it's a natural progression to where, where I am, and I'm following that route. Listen, it might change, I might decide to go into consulting and, and chase a management consultant route, end up in sort of business development. I don't know, but I have a lot of excitement for the possibilities. I think that's the wonderful thing, is that there's a lot of possibilities in the route that I'm taking. So yeah, so I am kind of branching out, and then becoming a student, and then come back in to hopefully add value in the world of work.
No, awesome, man. Look, I'm so proud of you, the direction that your career has grown. I think ever since I've known you, you've done this, and I'm sure that
Really, thanks, dude.
sure that the MBA will come around full circle, and it
Yeah.
will benefit you. And I hope that it really meets your aspirations and helps you not only to become a director, but to be an industry leader, a shapeshifter, a culture changer.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that
Yeah.
you can.
Thought leader.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, man, cool, man. Thanks for this time, Nati. Let me release you, man. I've really enjoyed talking to you, and I really hope that
Awesome.
everyone listening has benefited loads from
Yeah.
our interaction. And I do wish you well with your studies as you begin that.
Awesome.
Yeah. Say hi to Trump there and tell him to change his way. You must coach
No,
Trump.
to think. Hey, that man doesn't listen to anyone. Actually, they got him to wear a mask like this last 2 days.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah.
no, listen. Thanks for the opportunity, dude. I mean, I mean, I enjoyed this kind of stuff. So any opportunity to give back, to play my role, to play my part, I'll jump at it. So, I mean, let me know if there's any particular thing you want me to get involved in, a one-on-one with some of your guys, to have a conversation. Like I said, I love coaching, so to have a coaching moment, a coaching conversation. But yeah, man, as a parting shot, I think, one of the things as humans, I think naturally we do is we grow. So don't stifle that process unnecessarily. Jump on board, do your part, because nature's doing its part to grow you. Do your part, with the nurture, and just don't doubt. Try not to doubt yourself, in terms of what you can do and what you're capable of doing.
Awesome. Wise words from a future business school graduate. Yeah. Cool, man. Thanks, Nati. Let me stop recording. Thanks.
Thank you, Spura.
Sure.